These are my favorite blurple shimmers. Welcome to everyone watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you're thinking, blurple, what is that? That is a shimmer shade, in my case, always a shimmer, that has the perfect blend of a blue and a purple, hence the name blurple. So it is a purple very often, but it has a very blue either shift or a very heavy blue undertone. And it's one of my favorite shimmer shades to wear. And in this, in 2026, I really wanted to do a series all about my favorite shimmers. So I will link you to any of the videos I've already done in this series. I've got some singles for you, and then I also have some options that I have in some of my palettes. So depending on what you like and what you're looking for, you can hopefully find something that if you were looking to add a blurple to your life, that you have some input, maybe already own some of these and you've never even thought of them that way. First things first, I have my favorite all-time blurple, and it is a single in a pan that is in my purple collection. So in case you want to know how I've recreated my purple palette, you could say, I don't think I changed this around too much. But this purple right here is the bee's knees, you could say. So this purple palette I've had for quite some time, and I did reorganize my singles collection a couple of weeks ago, and you're gonna be seeing my single shadow reorganization and declutter in April. So if you want to see more of this and want to see more swatches, then stay tuned, because I do swatch out quite a bit in that video. But I think I have swatches up with most of my singles that come in these palettes. So I will make sure to link a couple of those videos in the description box down below in case you want to explore. But yeah, I love this shade right here. This is Fierce from Sydney Grace, and it's the best blurple I feel has ever been made. There are a couple of lighter things here as well. So I like this shade, for instance. I also really like this shade, for instance, as a blurple. Sometimes it can also lean a little bit lavender than right here. So I feel this palette gives you a really nice overview of what a blurple can be and what purple can be. So purple, when it has more of a reddish pink undertone, it's going to be a warm tone purple. And you can also have a purple that skews more blue, and then it's going to be a cool tone purple. Now, because I have a cool to neutral undertone, so for me, if I don't want my eyes to look very sort of sickly looking, then going for the more cool tone vibes is actually better. But you can see I do have some of the warmer tone purples in here as well. But yeah, this Fierce shade from Sydney Grace, this is what we're going to compare all the other things to that I'm showing you today, because this is just perfection. It's the exact right blend of blue and purple that you could possibly want in a shade like this. And there's just something about shades like these blurples that work really well with my skin tone as well as with my eye color. My eyes are, as you can see today, I'm wearing dark brown and like a mauve toned eye that's a little bit deeper. And I always feel that when I wear tones like that, my eyes look deeper. But when I use shades like this, you can see a hint of green coming through. So my eyes are brown, but because of that like slight hint of green there, they are actually not as dark as they look in a lot of pictures. And it is definitely shades like this that will bring out certain features in my eyes, and they can really make my eyes pop. So it really depends on what do I want to go for, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy a blurple so much. And here is that Sydney Grace shade, the first one we're swatching. You can see it has a pretty strong purple base, and then there's just really beautiful, almost duochrome-like blue flash, but it's not too on the nose. It still swatches like most metallic shimmers would, but this is really vibrant, really pigmented. Like I only picked up a little bit of product, and you can see what the color payoff like is here. So I really think this is one of the best shades that Sydney Grace does, period, but it's also the best blurple in my entire makeup collection. What if you feel like, well, blurple's great, but I don't have that kind of budget? Look at the Kiko. I don't think this is still around because this was limited edition. This is their water eyeshadow Chrome Tech in shade 3. This has a little bit more of a glitter sparkle to it, and it looks like straight on, it looks like a blue. But then when you turn it, you can see that purple coming through. So is this a traditional blurple where it's like the perfect blend of both shades? Maybe not. This does look better when you wet it. That's why it's called a water shadow. It will have more of this type of payoff if you apply it wet with a bit of, like if you wet your brush and then pick it up, or if you pick up the product on a brush and then wet it with a bit of MAC Fix Plus, for instance, is going to work. But you can see this has more shimmer to it. It's more glittery. It's got a little bit more of a looser texture. So that has to be your vibe. But I think you can see it therefore has a bit of a lighter effect. But you can see it has that beautiful sort of shift to it. Again, quite a purpley base, especially after swatching it. And then there's really, really nice blue sparkle running through it. It's absolutely stunning. But like I said, this is one where I feel you have to apply it wet for it to look its best. If you want that kind of color, like sort of sparkly, having fun, then look into Sheen Effect. These aren't necessarily cheap, but this is a Chinese beauty brand that does wonderful things. These were all over my TikTok, and I believe this is the one called Lost Dreams. I picked up one called Artist and one called Lost Dreams, but it only says it in like Chinese characters on the back, so I would not know how to pronounce that because that's not something I can read. And this looks like it's 3 tones, but actually when you blend it all together, it's this really beautiful like lavendery blurple sort of shade. So, but this, like they also do that sort of very strong blurple thing. And this is more of a multi-chrome as well. So if you want really impactful shimmers, then looking into Sheen Effect can be really, really nice. Of course, this doesn't look very impactful in this lighting because this really, you really have to see this in action. So I'll link you to a look I've done with this down below. I think I've also done a look on camera with the Kiko Milano one. So if I can find that, I will add that as well. But here, because you do have the 3 shades, you sort of have the option what you want to focus on as well. So this isn't the strongest blurple on the planet. It leans a little bit more lavender, but I do think it's a good option. If like this brand is a good option if you're looking for blurples, because they have a lot of them. Another great blurple is in the Melt Cosmetics Smokes Sessions 2. So if you own this palette, I'm not sure if they still do it, but this shade here on the end, this is so beautiful. What is it called again? It's Blue Haze. And it makes the palette for me. It really, really does. And this is, again, I think this is going to be the most similar to the Sydney Grace because this has that perfect blend again of like a purple with a blue. Yeah, this is really beautiful. And the Melt Cosmetics one is actually my favorite purple palette in my entire collection. You can see this skews a little bit more blue compared to the Sydney Grace one. There's a reason why I started with the Sydney Grace one and said, that's what we're going to compare everything to, because the way my brain works is that that's still my favorite blurple in my entire makeup collection. So just so you know, I don't think this is going to be beat, but this is another great option if you're looking for a purple that has that strong blue blend of things and that people look like it. Is it like blacklight or is it eyeshadow? You know, you want that sort of vibe with these shades. Glossgods had the Color of Rain eyeshadow palette. I'm not sure if they are ever going to bring this back, but here again you have this really nice shimmering sort of thing that has like a purpley base and then a blue flip. Again, this is a little bit more of like a shifty shade, and you do find this sort of vibe a lot with these more like multi-chrome shifty shades. Can I? Yeah, I can put it here. Ooh, yeah. This almost has like a silvery sheen to it. So this way it looks a little bit blue, but then if you shift it, it's like, so stunning. It definitely looks a little bit more intense, depending on how the light hits it. So with this one, I do feel there is almost like a cool tone gray. Ooh, like I'm looking at it this way and it looks like gray. But then when the light hits it, it has this really nice sort of shifty, purpley blue sort of vibe to it. So I think that's really pretty. I think this way you can see it a little bit. But another excellent option is hidden in the Winter Wonderland palette from Cosmic Beauty. This is, of course, one that I love. We all know that. This is perhaps a little bit more like blue leaning than anything else, But here we also have this multi-chrome that has this blue to purple shift. So this actually has several options where I feel like that could be like a blurple-ish kind of shade, because these purples are also not very pinky toned, right? So these purples are also going to lean more blue. So I'm not even sure which one to swatch from this. I thought when I looked at it, it was going to be this one, but now I'm like, I'll do the multi-chrome. Well, or shall we just do both, just for completion's sake? Yeah, so compared to the multi-chrome one, that does have a bit of green in it now that I see it. So the other shimmer may actually be best. Oh well. But here is both of them side by side. So this one doesn't have as much purple as I had hoped, but this one, like the multi-chrome, is just stunning. Do love me a multi-chrome, and especially these like green blue things. So here we have those two swatched side by side. I think this is a better option as a blurple compared to this. This is a little bit just blue. Now that I look at it again, this one is closest to that blurple, but it's definitely more in the shift that you get it. It's not like the Sydney Grace where it's that blend of it. Okay, yeah. I'm still convinced the Sydney Grace one is the best one. Fantasy Cosmetica, the Wizard palette, here again, a bit more blue heavy. But this is, I think, a good option as well, because it does really go nicely with this more indigo leaning shade. And it definitely has that hint of purple. Yeah, this is not like the Winter Wonderland where it is just the solid blue. In certain lighting, you can definitely see a little bit of that purple coming through. I think maybe now that it's smushed here on my hand, you can perhaps see it a little bit on the edges there. There is a spark of something purple in there, but it's very minimal, I have to say, especially in this swatch. Maybe if you apply it with brushes, you can't even really see it, because I see it more so here on my finger than I do on the swatch on the back of my hand. And that's one of the reasons, like, I only have 10 options really here for you today, because mainly I have just found that so many things that look like it could fit the bill, like palettes where I'm like, oh, that must have a blurple in, and then I looked at it, it was like, but that's not even, like, there's not even a hint of purple here, so it's an interesting shade to look into. Another really good palette for loads of different blurple options is the Realm of Fairies from Bella Beauté Bar and Sassy Fairy. This, like, everything in here is blue-purple. Like, the mattes are blue-purple. There are just so many options in here that I just think are excellent. Let me see which one I want to swatch. This is going to be a bit of a lighter option, but it's one of my favorite shades in this palette. It's this one right here. And it's sort of like, it's a bit like the Sheen effect where it's a bit lighter. It's sort of that iridescent black light sort of vibe where it's almost like lavender, silver, baby blue leaning. I'm also swatching it here underneath the Sheen effect one, and then you can see what I mean. Yes, ooh, there we have it. Do you see that? Ah, it's just a lighter option. It's like black light for your lids. I'm here for it. Another lighter option, so I do want to swatch this one next to it, is by Nomad. This is going to be the shade Mountain Chalet, I think. It's from the Après Ski Chamonix. Chamonix Après Ski, I always mess up the name. And here again, we have things that are a little bit more like blue, but it does have a little bit of a hint of something purple to it. Again, this is not going to be the most on the nose option that you can find. It's again a little bit more lavender leaning, but you can see that despite that baby blue sort of base, ooh yeah, you can see that it has that like hint of lavender purple to it. This is absolutely stunning. And finally, the brand new crystallized palette from Bella Beauté Bar has this stunner of a shade in. It's called, I can't read it, Lapis Lazuli, which is actually the name of like a gem that has that shade. And this is again such a good option. Oh, this is so good. It does have, like, compared to everything else, it does have a little bit of a pink undertone to it, but it does have that purple blue. Do you see that? It's so, so beautiful. Here's what it looks like if it's smudged out a little bit. Isn't that just gorgeous? And the thing is with this entire palette, actually, how is this shade this? Do you see how blue it looks in the pan and how purpley it looks on my finger? I'm like, how did we go from this to this? But it's beautiful. It's one of my major loves about that palette. There's like every single shimmer in that palette is pretty much a love. So there's loads of different options there. But like I said, I knew from the start that the best blurple in my entire makeup collection would still be Fierce by Sydney Grace. And I stand by it. It's just the best blurple in my entire collection, I feel. Do I still remember what we did? I think it was Sydney Grace, Kiko, Sheen Effect. This is Melt. Then we went in with, what was the other one? Oh, this is Glossgods. Then we did 2 from the Winter Wonderland. This is from Fantasy Cosmetica, from the Wizard palette. Then we did Bella Beauté Bar. Then we did the Après Chamonix from Nomad. Chamonix Après and the Crystallized from Bella Beauté Bar. So loads of different options. If you were looking for a cool tone purple shade, look into blurples because they definitely have something to offer. And it's not like, especially if you like the look of a blue eyeshadow, but you're afraid of it being too blue and it reminds you of the 80s, add a bit of purple. This can also be achieved by adding a purple onto your lids first and then adding a blue on top, of course. You don't need an actual shade like this in order to get the effect. But I just like these because they're shimmering and fun and they are great for layering, especially those lighter options here. They are so, so beautiful and they, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm like, we should have more blurples in our life. We definitely should. We definitely should. So thanks so much for watching me here today. Let me know your favorite blurple shade in the comments down below because I would love to know. Not that I need any more in my life, but hey ho. There's of course always going to be something I haven't tried that you guys really enjoy. So I would love to share those thoughts. Also, that could be helpful to other people in the comments if they read your comment. Maybe that is something that is more accessible to them and I just haven't tried it. So this way we can sort of like come together and help each other out. But these are just the things that I have. So thanks so much for being here. I do post on here 4 times a week. And if you could thumbs up this video, that would greatly help out the channel. If you want to subscribe and follow me, then you can do so on here or on my other channel. I do post once a week on floating in books. The link to that can be found in the description box down below because I do have like a sort of background lifestyle-y kind of video, kind of channel as well. Because not everything can go onto this channel, sadly. And if you do want to follow me on other social media, there are more links in the description box down below, so you can find me wherever. And then I hope to see you again really, really soon in a new video. Bye-bye.